Absolutely nothing.
Como la madre de la novia. ¿Qué
I
me
started from
harías?
scratch. I started with an empty store. And I here, I came from a completely different background. I majored in labor relations. And I had worked for somebody for quite a while. I was actually a CEO of a small company in Long Island City. And he was a nice man, but every time we went on a diet, he became a tyrant. To make a long story short, I left. And a very good friend of mine, who was my best friend, he said, why don't you go into the business for yourself, a retail store? I said, and so what? He says, trimming. I said, what the hell is a trimming? So he's very cute. He takes me over to M&J. The guy's got millions of dollars there, and I thought I could be one. Well, to make a long story short, I started. And I had what they call trimming, stuff like this. And thread and all that kind of. And then I saw a niche. I had an individual come into me. He was from the Garment Center. Years ago, by the way, the lace people were Irish. They were primarily the ones that were wholesaling laces in the United States. And this individual came into me after I was there a while. He said, if you can give me $6,000, I'm going to fill your store with the most amazing laces from all over the world. $6,000 was like telling me I can buy the Brooklyn Bridge, which I couldn't afford it. Well, after that, I finally put it together, and I went to his place, and I saw amazing laces. I was so, they're not in the fashion business, graphic arts, and I was fascinated. And that's how I got into the lace business. And since then, I pride myself in saying that I am an expert, and everything you see that's in here, or most everything, is made exclusively for me by my mistakes or by my success. Okay? What inspired me to do classes, because I would get students like you coming in here, I'm not going to tell you where, but in and around the Garment Center, you were told it's made in France, you were told it's made in, Valentino used it, and I kept on seeing this over and over again. I said, that's nonsense. You guys are now being told that this is made in France, and since when is Beijing France? And it was poor quality to begin with. So what I'm going to try to do, I'm not going to give you so much of the history, because the history you can Google it, is basically show you. Now you guys are lingerie or bridal?
Bridal.
Ah, the right place. The premier lace used years ago. Does everybody know about this lace called Lyon? It actually came from Lyon, France. There used to be 5 companies in Lyon, France. It's now down to 1. The owner of the company happens to be a good friend of mine. His name is Alex, and the company is called Bridal. And most of the laces that you see on wedding gowns in the 40s, in the 50s, that was Lyon, it wasn't Lonzo. I'm going to show you the difference, okay? Lyon lace. Mostly, in spite of the designers today, I don't want a big pattern. That's what they used. Big, beautiful patterns of Lyon lace. Made in Lyon, France. Cotton, dyeable, cotton applique. You can do whatever you want with it. Carolina Herrera now has a couple of dresses made out of Lyon lace, $10,000 to $12,000. Vera Wang also, and I think one of the designers are using it, and I think it's about a welcome time to bring it back. Keep in mind, when you're working with a lace, you don't necessarily have to use it like this. Cut and reapply it any way you want, and you can cut through it. You could literally take this, cut out these little flowers, cut out all of this. It's not going to unravel. People say, well, it's going to unravel. So it didn't unravel here, why would it unravel here? Okay? You could also put other laces with it. A lot of the designers now, these designers are getting $12,000, $15,000, and $20,000 wedding gowns. They're doing superimposing, meaning they might take this rose, crumple it a little bit, and give it elevation. And it becomes beautiful. It becomes different. not only different, you look at it and say, wow. Okay? Leon lace, top of the line. All right? Step down from there. Commonly used. I wish it was much more used today, or way back in the day of Sposabella, Paul Barcelona's day. Alanson was extremely big. It's still used by designers today. And you see the difference. Now, it has nothing to do with the pattern. It's the mechanism. It's how is it made. So these are French lever laces. These are lever machine, graphite machine. If you ever saw the machine, you would say, how in God's name does anybody take anything from it? Because it's graphite. So these are filtered, literally filtered. And then they have to bleach them. And then it goes through another process and they cord it. This gets corded. All right? Cording. All right? Now, the beauty of Alanson lace, the French are pretty clever. Alex, can you get that? They not only do wide goods, they do narrow goods. That is, comes with or without metallic. So if one wanted to use this to maybe change the border on it, they can. Also, this would be beautiful. Vilma, show me a veil with 12060. They cut this apart. All right? Edge. By the way, keep in mind, French laces and any decent lace has left and rights. Many times I see dresses slapped on like this. Mirror images. One goes one way, one goes the other. Okay? Borders. So this would come in not only this width, it even comes in 72 inches. So for a long gown, of course, this is a dream. 72 inch, a different design. There's about 35 different patterns. 4 or 5, that's it. The rest of them, whoop-de-doo. Right? Alanson lace, 72 inches. Comes in David's Bridal white, which I call that stock white. Nobody uses stock white. And then there's diamond white. Diamond white is like this. It's not ivory. It's not white. Then it comes with ivory. Yes, these come in colors. But bridal, of course, you can, right now they're playing with blush. The biggest color that I saw in France was blush. It was on embroideries, like we have here, and also on even yards and men. Right? Okay. Now, like Elvis made this song famous, it was called Chantilly Lace. This is the exact same pattern, and this is just the lever. It has not been quartered. It's not quartered. So held, they call it Chantilly. If they quartered it, it would become re-embroidered or Alanson lace. The exact same lace as this. This comes in a variation of colors. Okay. So we went from Leon, Alanson, Chantilly. Okay. Let's go on. The embroidery of the day today is embroidery. There's a lot of manufacturers using embroidery. Wonderful. I want to show you this to give you an idea what you could do with Alanson lace. Can you open it up for me?
Sure.
Take that. This is the exact same lace I just showed you in the 72 inch, although this was only made from 36 inch.
It's a combination.
And we're going to show you. Extended cathedral veil. Sculpturing. This is the difference between a designer and not a designer. You make things like this. These are beautiful. Somebody walks in the church, first time they see it, they walk down the aisle, it's an ooh and an ah. This is what you want to put on brides. Not a Holy Communion veil, fingertip veil. What do you do? ugly. In fact, I just wrote an article, I sent it over to the Knot about the way they discredit veils. And that's why the magazine's going in the toilet. They are no longer, in my opinion, my professional opinion, a guide for people to buy wedding gowns. You better off buying a European magazine. They have fashion and style. Right? Okay. This is tulle. There is nothing elaborate about the tulle outside of using pure silk. Silk is death to work with. You do this in silk, and I've done it. You got to charge 4 times the price because it is so tough to do. This is nylon made in the United States. You don't need one made in England, France, and Germany. I get that nonsense again coming in here. This is this and this and that. Nonsense. Nonsense. Made in the USA. Okay.
Frank, don't you have to watch when you do the silk tool? You have to pass the plan of layer. That kills a lot of the tools.
Well, at the end of the day, it seems that, in spite of the fact I'm still able to use it.
Yeah, all right. Because I know when they used to do the face flusher, you only get a certain one, you couldn't get a wide one because it didn't pass the clean over.
Yeah.
That was the important part. So it's not your time.
Alice, we're going to need you up front there. Oh, you're busy? Okay. Now I'm going to go into it. Oh, all right. Let me show you. I showed you the real McCoy. I never could figure out why they say real McCoy. All right. Okay. If you Google Chantilly lace, you will get Alibaba telling you it's Chantilly lace.
It's not.
If it ain't made in Chantilly, it ain't. These are lever laces. They are made in China. Okay? It's not there, but at the end of the day, it's not what you should use if you want to make a high-end gown. Market week, it's supposed to be this month, Javits. Last year that I went, and I'm very vocal, I could not believe the massiveness of gowns made in China. They were unadulterated crap. Crap. You can go to Guangzhou in China, and you can buy a gown, ready-made gown, $50, $60. If that's the market you want to be in, you've got to kill it. You got to be haute couture to it. Otherwise, you're not going to make it. One man's opinion. You must start out with quality. It's like a chef. If you go into a high-end restaurant, they're going to start out with product, and then it depends on what he does to it. You as designers have to do the same thing. If you want to get into the mass markets, you're going to get killed. That's why so many bridal companies from overseas are going belly up. Nobody wants them. Or very few people want them. If you want to be in that high end, a trip to Paris, by the way, I haven't been there in a long, long time, spoke to me loud and clear. Designers here that I consider really good designers, President Company, Paul Barcelona to me is one of the ones that were way back when, and still is, great designers. But most of the designers, and I'm talking about even on ready to wear, you had Bill Blass, Jeffrey Beam, you had Halston, Oscar De La Renta, Ralph Lauren. Today, they've got guys with painted hair, earrings all over their face, and that makes them a designer. Baloney. If they're such great designers, how come every time I go out, I'm overdressed? I was at a place on 58th Street between Madison and Park, restaurant, and I would say I was one, maybe another one that was fairly dressed. Everybody else looked like they would go to the beach in their sweatsuits. They looked horrible. No role models. There's nobody projecting what people really should look like. And the lack of pride, if you will. And they were a mirror on the wall. or the bride that you want to deal with. You want her to be absolutely bubbly. I don't care if she's 18 or 48. Makes no difference. That day is extremely special. She should look special. You have to make her special. With ornamentation, whatever else you can do to make her, you never pick her over the mirror and say, look at you. Or you're on the runway and everybody goes, ah. One of my designers that I love is a Japanese designer, Yumi Katsuro. I think, Google her. She does beautiful work. Very feminine, very beautiful. Very good. And there are a couple of other designers out there, especially now you got a lot of Israeli designers, but they're $15,000, $20,000. They don't have to sell multiple. They sell 10 gowns, and for the rest of the year they retire. But they do beautiful, unusual things. They recreate, they regroup the concept of marriage, and they make it spectacular. Like they're on Broadway. It's coming out. Okay. That's it. Next. What's become very fashionable now, like I say, superimpose. This kind of look. Before, most designers would have to buy appliques and do this. This is already done. And you could do multiple different things with this. Multiple. Give you an example. That's a bit. That's a lot. Okay? Somebody wears that, it is extraordinary. Beautiful. Okay? Superimpose, cut it. That's ours, by the way. Cut out. Amazing. Very different. Not for every market. At the end of the day, this is noticeably beautiful. Then there are much more simple things. Embroidery is very big. Okay? And as you can see, I did a multitude of different colors. By the way, this is natural fiber. You can literally dye this. Okay? All right. I did white. I did this color, light blush, and a blush. There are different concepts. Instead of floral, sometimes people don't want to use floral designs. There are many things like this. Very different. This is done on a machine, special machine, that makes this kind of design. We put a little sparkle, not much, a little sparkle into it. And as you can see, there are some wonderful things to play with in here. You have all these beautiful appliques. Okay? If you guys want to move in a little bit, you can see better. Okay? All right? And this can be used as a border. This could be on a veil. This could be a simple bodice. Okay?
Does this come in white?
Any color. I can make any color providing it's 60 yards or more. I make limited amounts of things that I really believe in that they want to sell. Our major market here is not retail, it's wholesale. I sell designers happily, especially in Sacramento. They do very well. They are couture designers. They really have a great palette. They're really good. Look at that. That's it. You can go into beading. This is a beautiful chantilly lace. And you can beat it anywhere so you like. You can have it done. No problem. You go. When you do this, of course, it will accelerate the price, but when you're working with this kind of goods anyway, you want to really impress the person or the bridal store that's going to buy it. You can see the workmanship. Okay. Now, this is not a lace, this is embroidery. I actually made a veil of this. I had it. Now, quality. The individual that I work with for the last 20 some odd years, there's about 30% of the embroidery for France and Italy. His quality is superb. I never have to worry about that this doesn't match that. Every stone is exactly the same place on the entire piece of dress. You get what you pay for. Good? High end. $450 a dress. You can do feathers. This we had a lot of success with. This, I'm told, is used by Valentino. Also Chanel. As is, or cut them out. Cut them out. Reply. Why are you smiling?
This is beautiful.
Oh, okay. I thought I was beautiful.
You're beautiful too.
Oh, well, thank you. Okay. This is $18,000. Not me. Him. That's what he does for us.
Do you know how much it costs to make it?
That's not the. In this instance, I think it's the creativity, the idea of putting it together, and who they are. You know, that's part of the big sell. Oh, you know the sparkle?
Sparkle tool?
Vilma, could you give me the sparkle bell, please? The sparkle tool behind there. There's a roll of sparkle tool. Keep going. Keep going. The right side. Keep going. Keep going. Yes. Alice, where's the sparkle?
Should be in the corner, I think.
Right behind you. I think it's on the bottom.
No, it's not here. Come on.
No.
Where is it, Alice? Don't matter.
Thank you for having us. I met you the other day. And we talked to Barcelona about having it, like a discussion.
Okay. See this? It's not a big deal. Right? But as you open it up, and now you lay it over something. Do I have a piece of fabric back here? Huh. Fabric. Yeah. Let's took the day off. Right time, huh?
Oh.
All right. So you have a piece of fabric. And you can double layer. Now, you could take anything. Put it over it, it just gives a little bit of bling. This, unfortunately, better if it was a different color. It's barely, you can, it's there and it's not there. So, what you're doing, of course, you see you're adding a little bit of highlight to it. You're sort of kicking it up a bit. That really, really does help. And the selling. This came to me probably about 3 years ago, and I just started fooling around with it. I can't tell you how much I sell to designers. They love it, and they play with it, and naturally they get a different look. A beautiful look. The different is, the word different means a lot of things to different people. You want it to look beautiful. That's the whole trick. Okay? All right, so that's it. I covered most of the bridal laces, embroidery. Again, keep in mind, oh, by the way, this is made in Italy. Italy is not famous for laces at all. Every now and then somebody tries to tell me it's made in Italy. Yeah, right. The only thing made in Italy is me. This was made in Italy. Not bad. Pretty nice. Just nice veil. That's about it. But other than that, they use inexpensive Rochelle laces, which I don't even care. Rochelle laces are like what you really see on cheap shirts. You know, it's that cottony looking. You know right away it's cheap. Those are Rochelle laces. Now, what's really elevating to the top right now, back here. No, Mabel, do me a favor.
Yeah.
Take that up. Take that down.
Which one?
That. Take that down. Let me see.
This one?
Very expensive gown. Very. But let's see the reason why. There were so many different steps here. It's embroidered, then it's metallically embroidered, then it's beaded, and then it's superimposed. Lovely little flowers. By the way, this is a very big color, even on wedding rings. Very big color.
When you do this in white, is like everything white? Like it's all just
It's
one
diamond
color
white. It won't be white. In fact, I think we just shipped it out. Okay. Now, all those things that you see back there, those superimposed little flowers and daisies and buds and the like, could all be done in white. I think I have a piece in back. I want to show to you. I'm holding it for a design. It's beautiful. Oh. By the way, before I do that, these are two different processes. Almost the same kind of look, but this is more so beadwork. The same idea, but now that's on the lever machine. All this beading is done by hand. Everything's done by hand. Now, if that pearl came off and the customer was here, they wouldn't buy it. I'm hoping it's from the product. It's not good. It's okay. Here we go. Pull that back. See it? Wow. Okay. Beautifully done. Now, this could be the entire dress, your bodice. Again, can be joined, or it can be manufactured in any which way that you choose. But the idea of this superimposed look, trust me, is very big, beautiful, and wonderful. Not only do I say so, but the market out there. We're talking about up here, not down here. High end. Okay? Very beautiful. All right. Now, when I get another piece, I'll show you.
Because of the trains. It's just like super weird. I emailed because I'm going to open up today.
open up the sliver of it. This is for a designer. He made it for that. Very over the top. Not for everybody's taste. But there are brides out there. Okay. All these little buds, handmade, fabulously done. Again, the beadwork on here is extraordinary. Swarovski crystal. No. Okay. This is the look that I saw strong in Paris. That's what these little buds, and you can see those are all brand new, by the way. Back there. And I made this in two tones. I made some beadwork in white, and then I did these with a creamy color. Made a work of art. Beautiful. Yeah. Again, everything I'm showing you is not, you're not going to get the mass markets out there. Like 75 or 80% of your markets could be this. No. It's that small market, that haute couture market, that spoiled market that wants the best, and they don't want anybody to look like them. I think it's ridiculous, I'm going to mention the name, to go to Kleinfeld and spend $12,000, $14,000 a gown off the rack, that maybe 3 or 4 people in the party wore it themselves. Spend that kind of money, you want haute couture. You want something made especially for you. That's it. And whenever I watch that Project Runway, not Runway. That's that creep across the street. No, I didn't say that. But anyway, by the way, he's ugly and I'm cute. But anyway, no, this I'm talking about bride. When you, what is it called? Say yes to the dress. By the way, they were here. We did some work with them too. There was a young lady. She was quite heavy, quite voluptuous. And to me, she was coming out of her dress. And this guy went over and he said, "Oh, it's so beautiful. It's so gorgeous." It was making me sick. She looked horrible. She looked like she was stuffed into the dress. You've seen it. Yeah, she looked like she was stuffed. That poor girl bought that dress. I think she was $9,000 or $10,000. I don't know. How dare they sell something like that? She did not. She needed a custom dress because she had crazy kind of figure. And once you start altering their dresses, first of all, you're going to get hit over the head, number one. Number two, the dress will never look the same. Never look the same. Especially if you got beadwork. It's not going to happen. Not to discredit them, but at the end of the day, I'm just giving an example. If you're going to make something, be truthful about what you're doing. Make it count. So again, all these colors that you see, these greens with pinks and the lights and the reds and the green, that is very desirable in a minimal market, haute couture. Run kind of thing. Just beautiful. And it's all with this idea of these superimposed flowers. That's what I saw that was very, very big. Okay. Any questions? You can ask me any questions. Did I leave out something?
I have a question about the flowers. What material are they made out of?
Okay, these particular flowers are probably a blend of cotton and nylon. They're not going to do them out of silk. First of all, they would not fall properly. But again, it can be done. The flowers would be a little bit irregular. Sometimes when you, like those flowers are irregular.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the beauty of it. This is more regimented. Okay? Let's see, oh, there are laces, believe it or not, at one time, the embroidery capital of the world, where do you think it was? Everybody know? right across the river, New Jersey. In fact, when you go to the Lincoln Tunnel, you'll see the embroidery capital of the world. And when I first got into this business, they were just starting to unload. But up until then, there were many, many embroidery companies out there. And you never went overseas. This is where you, there was one guy, his name was Ambassador Lace. His name is Mr. Cohen. And he would go over to Switzerland, spend $100,000, bring the samples back and knock them off. And he made beautiful, beautiful embroidery. And this is part of a working day. I still have some of it. And years ago, they used a lot of applique. This is by the yarn. They cut them or use them as is. As you can see, these are vintage. This is another company. It's called Manhattan Lace. They're made out of natural fiber, cotton, New Jersey. And I'll show you another piece that's absolutely beautiful that we used to make. No longer make. Look at the workmanship on this. If I said it was made in Switzerland, you would believe it. They were done on Swiss machines. Look at the beautiful work. I want to say it's probably about 40 years old, 45 years old. But this is the work they used to do. Today, I very rarely see, this can be made today. It could be made in New York, it could be made in Switzerland. I never see this quality anymore. If they make it, it's half the amount of stitches. When you're buying embroidery, it's time and materials. Sometimes they'll take a beautiful design, they'll give you a sample, and some of the bridal companies do this. They make this beautiful sample, and now they take stitches out of the goods, and naturally the price goes down. Not the ethical companies, we're talking about these charlatans, okay? Not much of that goes on anymore, but it does happen. Okay, so that's what we used to do. And they made wide goods too. 45 inch, 36 inch, individual borders, all made in Jersey. So, that said, I conclude, unless there's anybody else have any questions.
I have a question. Do you work with designers on designs or like different things for booths, and like how is
Definitely.
How is that like process?
Well, very simple. They right now, I won't mention, we have quite a famous rising designer that will tweak some of the goods I have. And that's what I do, by the way. I will go to the factory and I'll tweak them. What I mean by tweaking is, if I love it the way it is and I think it's going to work, make it as is. I don't like the amount of stitching in there. I want you to do more stitching. I want it to look better. I want to use natural fiber. I don't want to use polyester. So that can happen. But again, you can do your own design. There are very few designers today that I know of do their own designs, even though they like uniquely there and all that kind of stuff. Especially in French lace, there's no such thing as exclusivity. Forget it. Not unless you're going to buy a carload. Nobody's going to say, I want exclusivity. How many yards are you going to buy? 100 yards. They'll laugh at it. No. Take that lace and redesign it, rework it, and make it something so that it may not be recognizable on a inexpensive gown. And most of the quality laces that I carry here, you would not find on an inexpensive gown. I'm happy to say. Right? So, is that it? I have an open door policy here. Whenever you want to know about anything that you saw somewhere else, don't tell me where. But you ask me for an honest opinion, I will give you an honest opinion. Does everybody know how to tell silk from polyester? Head of the class. And what happens when you burn it?
It burns. It like has a smell to it. Right?
It smells like grandpa's socks. Okay. If it's polyester, it's going to ball up. Don't touch it, it will burn your finger. It's 100% silk. There was a blunt because of sparkle. Let me show you polyester. Difference. Now rayon will almost do the same thing because it's a natural fiber. It's made from tree bark. Okay? Very few people use rayon. I don't know why it just got out of favor. Poly. There's a low on the place. Let me get a piece of polyester. Mabel,
Yep.
anything that's color back there, behind, will be polyester. Let me do it. Let's see. Get a haircut. All right. Now there are some fabrics, even though they have a blend in it, like the Japanese good, 48 inches, silk face satin. I would say Bureau Wine uses it a great deal and sell it because of its stability. It's beautifully made. Trick is it's 48 inches instead of 60, but it's a very good fabric. What happens? It's melting. This happens to be nylon, but polyester do the same thing. Okay? That's how you know the difference. So sometimes, like people, never forget I was on 40th Street, and this woman comes in, I show her all kinds of silk, and I know I gave her the right price. So she came in to me and she says, went around the corner, bought the same goods for $10 a yard. I was shocked. I was mad. I said, son of a gun, who's doing that? Well, anyways, polyester. It was all polyester. And I burned it. I showed her. I said, that's what we bought. It's worth $10. That's it. Okay? Some polyesters, I used to bring a polyester in from Italy. It was called Sada Prima, meaning silk. It was so good, I won't mention the designer, she's still around. It was not Paula. Passed it off as silk. I saw it in the magazines, I saw it at the shows, 100% silk. No one ever caught it. It was so magnificently made. At that time, I used to bring in an average of 2,000 yards a month, and I would have it sold before delivery. It was fabulous. So we cringe when we hear polyester here, but some polyesters in that particular one was magnificent. I understand they don't make it anymore. You know, the desire left.
The mill's closed and
You remember that Sada Prima?
we didn't use Santa Cruz, we used some other fabrics. There was like, you couldn't tell if the color was right.
It was phenomenal. When I first was shown, the importer come here from Italy. And I said, what? You know, and then I thought, Vernon, holy cow. And I ordered some, and before you know it, I was doing. And then I saw it on a dress, pretty famous designer, 100% silk. Never got caught. Never got caught.
So, at the end, are you finished? You got anything else?
That's the end. I'm going to give if you like, I'll give you one of my bags. My bags look like this. You are welcome to it. And again, when you come in, you remind me you had a class, and anything you buy, you will get a discount. Okay? You can go on our website. In fact, if you email us your name that you had a class, you will be put on a special list. Every time I get something new, you will know about it. You'll get to see it. Okay? So that's it. Take a bunch of bags, please. Who wants a bag? Please. And we also have a swatch box that's here.